Focus. Oh, because the mics, you're gonna hear it. No. Okay. Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jessica. This is my booktube where I talk about all the books that I love to read. It has been a minute. It has been a year since I've posted. I've made videos, but then I just don't post them or edit them or anything. Last week, I was getting pizza somewhere, and I think it was like Papa John's. We were getting the new Toy Story box that just came out for Toy Story 5. And I saw an old friend while I was there, and he was like, oh, do you still do your YouTube thing? Because I know he's one of my followers. And I was like, no, I'm busy, whatever. And honestly, I thought about it, and that wasn't really true. I mean, I am busy. Instead of working now, I homeschool my kids, and I really started thinking about it. This was the one thing that I really had for myself, because it's not about my kids. It's about books and about what I'm reading or whatever. The reason why that I stopped doing this or stopped posting on my Instagram was strictly because I was scared of everybody's opinion, of people I went to school with, even though I'm, in my 30s now, and I cared about my old friends that I'm not friends with anymore. I was worried they were gonna, think I was weird or whatever. But mostly, I was nervous about the bookstagram or booktube or book talk community, because I have been a part of that community since, well, my middle child, and he's 9 years old, so for about 9 years. And getting into some books is what got me out of my postpartum depression, and it was kind of my way of just separating life, the struggles I was going with, and being able to just have my own thing on top of being a mom, because sometimes you lose yourself, and that was one way that I could kind of find myself, was reading all of these books. And I feel like what's different now, I think we're all just so numb to what is going on in the world, and I was scared to honestly post something or post that I liked a book or I didn't like a book, or I was going to read this book, or I'm not going to read this book. I was scared people are going to be like, oh, you're a racist. Oh, you're homophobic. Oh, you're a Zionist, or oh, you're blah, 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 blah. All of these things that I know are not true. But I was still scared that the community was going to lash out, even as someone who has like 9 followers, because watching that consistently through bookstagram mostly, and hearing about all the things of, oh, we canceled this author this month. We've canceled this author this month. Oh, we're not reading this book because it kind of has ties to this book. And not saying certain authors' names. It's just, I miss the old booktube, the old bookstagram, not book talk, because let's be honest, like that, in my very selfish opinion, has ruined reading for everyone. Because now, instead of reading a good book, it's who can read and get, the best sponsors for their videos or sponsors for their TikTok. And while that's all great and dandy and you make money, and I'm very happy for all of you people, I miss the people who just read books and then they talk about the books. Like, that's it. That's all I want. And that's all this channel is going to be. I'm going to try to be more consistent and not let the fear of other people's opinions get in my way. And I hope that you'll be respectful of that. And if you're not, then I'll block you. I'm just gonna read books. Any book that I feel like I want to read, I'm gonna read. I'm not gonna have, you know, a set. I'm gonna have TBRs, and I'm gonna try to have a set list. If books come out and I want to read them, great. You're gonna get old books that, you know, I want to read, like A Court of Thorns and Roses. You're gonna have new books that I want to read, like Alchemized. You're gonna have, you know, an overly hyped book like Fourth Wing. I mean, you're gonna get books, memoirs. We're gonna have memoirs. We're gonna have children's books. I'm gonna read whatever I feel is interesting to me. And even if it's an opinion, like memoirs, or, you know, people that I don't particularly like, I'm still going to read the book. There's only two things that I will not read. Anything revolving people who, you know, prey on children, and anything with, particularly with animals, because that's just, I don't want to read that. You know, that's yeah, that's gross. You know what? I don't care what you think. That's gross. If you, with an animal, that's gross. We're not, there are books, by the way, that do, like, gross. Anyway, so I'm gonna read controversial authors. I'm gonna read authors that apparently are AI. I'm gonna read, you know, authors that are based off of other authors. I don't freaking know. If I want to read it, I'm gonna read it. If you don't like it, I'm not sorry, I guess. I am sorry that I'm not sorry. I have no idea how I'm really feeling. I'm trying to not care about other people's opinions, and I just want to talk about books. And if it's a good book, in my opinion, if it's a bad book, what it's about, things like that. So that's my little chat of, I guess, my spiel of this. This is supposed to be a TBR book, or a TBR video of what I'm going to be reading. I'm going to be doing vlogs. I will be doing like vlogs where I compare one book to another book, maybe. I have some ideas that I've been wanting to do because I don't really see that, and I want to, I don't know. We're just gonna read all of the books. We're also gonna talk about books that I read with my kids, because again, I homeschool, so we're gonna talk about the books that I read. I want to start reading out loud to them. I have 4 kids, and they range from 1 year old to 13. So ultimately, I just want this channel to be about reading. I'm not doing any of that influencer, creator stuff. I just need an outlet for myself to talk about books. The books that I want to read this month, in the month of June, not that one. I am going to reread A Court of Thorns and Roses because the next book is coming out in November, sometime at the end of this year. So I want to catch up. My big ACOTAR fans, again, this book got me into reading. This is what got me out of my depression, out of my mommy sadness. This is what got me out of it. So I'm going to reread this and the rest of the series, hopefully by the time the 5th book comes out, I guess. 4th book, 6th book. It depends if you count Frost and Starlight. I count it. I don't know. I'm also going to read this month Alchemized. Okay, I'm gonna read it because I'm gonna support this author. I know she worked super hard on this. I know that the publishers probably picked this, but not probably. They picked this book up because of what it was based off of, so they knew they could make money off of it, and I bought it. So they made money off me, but ultimately I know that me buying this book supports this author, so I am going to support this author, and I know this book is going to be amazing. If you don't know what this book is about, this is basically everything. It's after a major war, I'm assuming, because if you've read Manacled, then you know what this book is about. Manacled, which is the fan fiction that Sin Yu wrote about Harry Potter, and basically it was the aftermath of Harry Potter, but instead of Harry Potter winning the Hogwarts battle, he lost. And so basically Hermione and becomes a prisoner. Draco, who is one of the highest Death Eaters, he takes her, well, they give her, and they're trying to repopulate the magical community with, you know, all these witches and things like that. That's a horrible explanation, but I know that it is basically Handmaid's Tale and Harry Potter put together. So I know that that is manacled. Alchemized, I'm assuming, because I have not read it, is roughly the same storyline, because obviously there's like the red thing from like Handmaid's Tale, but it's the same storyline, but it's a different magic system, different characters, I'm assuming different background. We're gonna find out. But that's what this book was based off of, or fan fiction that was based off of that book. The next book we're gonna read is, I'm gonna read these at the same time because they're kind of on the opposite side of memoir, of like opinions and things like that. I'm not gonna say opinions, but perspectives, I guess. Not perspective. Okay. I'll try to figure it out when I come out with a vlog, because I'm going to read them together in a one vlog, because I'll explain. Okay. This is Nobody's Girl by Virginia Roberts Guffrey. She is one of the Epstein victims. She wrote this before she passed away. The publisher and I believe her best friend decided to publish it. I have started this book. I have the audiobook and the physical, and it is rough. Not rough as in like the writing is rough to read, rough as in very detailed. It goes into certain things that she had went through. So if you have any triggers regarding that, like of what, you know, everybody knows what the Epstein files are about. I was having a hard time going through this, and I typically don't get triggered by anything, and I really just had to grasp back to reality of like this is, it was rough. That's all I'm gonna say. It was rough to read. I'm taking it in spurts. I'm hoping to finish it in a week, in a vlog. But if you have any triggers regarding, you know, certain things, because I don't know what I can and cannot say on here, I would not read this at all. I'm going to pair this book, when I read this book, I'm going to be reading Stop in the Name of God. This is by Charlie Kirk. I know that's gonna ruffle feathers, but guess what? This is my channel, so I'm gonna read what I wanna read. Also, I am a baby Christian, so this book in particular is about learning about Sabbath, which is a day of rest, and I very much believe that I should do Sabbath. I don't know, do you like celebrate Sabbath? I have no idea. That's what I bought this book for. We're gonna read this book. And you're like, Jessica, why are you pairing these two books? Why are you gonna put them in the same vlog? Because it's hard to wrap your head around about God allowing this to happen. You know what I mean? So I just want to, I just feel like it would pair well together. That's pretty much it. I just feel that this book makes me question this book, and this book makes me question this book. I don't know. I just want to read them together and see how I feel about them, I guess, because they're kind of like opposite opinions. I know that, I think, if I remember right, she goes in saying like, I don't believe in God and Jesus, and it makes me really want to make sure that my mind stays that I do believe in God and Jesus, because this is some warped crap that, again, makes you really think of like, why would you let this happen? you know, so it makes you think. It makes you think. So I'm gonna read those two. Last book that we're gonna talk about the book that I'm gonna read with my kids for homeschool, and that's Beyond Mulberry Glen by Millie Florence. It's this book. I'm gonna read this book with my kids. We've already started. It's pretty good. We actually went into reading the first chapter already, and I've just bent the cover. Reading the first chapter, and so far we absolutely loved it. So we're gonna, it's about a girl who I believe lives with, she's an 11-year-old Lydia Green, doesn't want anything to change, and she lives happily in Mulberry Glen with her mismatched family, a fairy guardian, a philosopher, and troubled twin makers known as the Z's. So basically her whole life as she lives in this Mulberry Glen is uprooted, and she's supposed to go somewhere else. I believe we just got to the part of where like she found out, she's like, hey, you know, you can't stay here anymore. Those are the books that I want to read this month. So if you enjoy listening to someone talk about books, maybe getting a book review, because I don't see a lot of book reviews anymore. So I'm going to be doing that too. Book reviews, just cozy, relaxing, chaotic, weekly vlogs. This channel is going to be what I feel booktube and bookstagram and book talk and all of the things should be. We should be able to comment about books that we like, books that we don't like, without the fear of backlash. And that's ultimately what I'm going to do. I just want to read. I just want to go back to being happy about reading a good book, reading books that make you think. I'm gonna go read a book and start the vlog because I need to do that. Thanks for watching. I will see you next time. Go read a book, whatever floats your boat.